Well, joining us to discuss, some of those withdrawals that we have seen from some political parties and perhaps the challenge that the coalition of united political parties will face is Comrade Frank Estanubi, who is an aspirant for the Delta State governorship position. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much, Mufe.
Your platform is the ADP, which is, can you help us with the abbreviation of the full name?
So the ADP is for the Action Democratic Party.
The Action Democratic Party. And your party was not a part of the coalition, did not sign the Memorandum of Understanding?
Yeah, so that's correct. The ADP did not sign the Memorandum of Understanding because we felt that they are going to make the same mistakes that was made in 2014. Where some groups came together with the sole purpose of grabbing power. There was no level of preparation at all. There were a gathering of strange bedfellows, and the only commonality that existed between all the parties that came together there was to chase out the then president and get into office. And we've seen the result in the last 3 years. Unfortunately, you can't do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. So what played out within the last 1 week was something that was also doomed to go in similar direction, and that did not fall in line with what our party believed, the ADP.
So have you been in talks? I mean, for some people, they think it's something that can happen. Some of them were in conversation with, the other parties, the other political parties, but some at the end of the day did not end up signing the memorandum. And we've seen a number of them saying, we did not sign, we were not even there. Was your party ever in talks with any other party just to at least gain strength on the ground?
Yeah, so to the best of my knowledge, the ADP is open to conversations with other parties. In actual fact, at the last stakeholders meeting we had with the national chairman of the party, he did mention that there were talks ongoing with parties with a view to forming a formidable coalition that will put the interest of Nigerians first. But in doing this, we would not sacrifice what we believe in the process. And yes, it is true that at the point of discussions, the ADP was there. And the final output of that coalition, we were not in agreement with the content and then the drivers of the process.
What did you disagree with?
So first and foremost, a fundamental principle that ADP stands for is that the APC and the PDP, they are two sides of the same coin. At times, it is difficult to even identify where any one of them stands at a point in time. Yesterday, you hear them on this side of the table. By the next day, you hear them singing "Oh My Home," and you ask yourself, where do these people really stand? It's just where suits them at a point in time. So there's, in the view of the ADP, the APC and the PDP, they are part of the problems of this country, and we need fresh ideas, we need fresh blood to move this country forward.
How serious should our viewers and Nigerians at large take you and your party this morning, given the fact that you don't have the kind of access into political office that would enable you to potentially expand or really make your presence felt in the political scape? Why is it that you believe that your party can operate without any kind of an allegiance or a partnership with the APC or the PDP?
Yeah, so we believe that we can actually have a coalition, but it has to be a coalition of like-minded parties. We would not, for the sake of wanting to grab power, go and dine with the devil. At the end of the day, it will be counterproductive to the party and to the people of Nigeria. What we are open to is to have conversation with similar, so it is not just the ADP that has pulled out of this arrangement. There are other parties who are not comfortable with it, and it is not impossible for these other parties to still come together and say, yes, we have similarity in ideology, we have similarity in beliefs, and we can work together. So that window is still open. Conversations, I'm aware, are still going on between some of these other parties, and maybe in a few weeks we could see something coming out of it.
When you look at our recent political history, we have not really seen parties outside the mainstream, maybe APGA, Labour Party, PDP, APC, and the legacy parties before them have office holders. And I want to ask you, if you're not going to work with them and you're thinking of building a coalition with other parties who also don't have that kind of presence, are you content at a point to just essentially be kind of activist in your approach? Is that something that you're willing to sacrifice potentially?
Yeah. So if I put a poser back to you, I would say, do you really think APC is happy today? Because APC, in the minds of many Nigerians in 2014, was like they were going to be the savior of the world. 3 years down the line, many people are quite disenchanted that we have not gotten what we bargained for in 2015. And when they say good name is better than money at times, I think it fits in perspective this time around. In the United States, for instance, there are two major political parties, the Republicans and the Democrats. That doesn't mean that there are no other parties in the U.S. You have the Liberals, you have the Green Party, and these guys have never had a seat in the Congress. And but what does that tell you? They don't have a seat in the Congress as we speak now, but they stick to their principles. So principles are more important than winning offices. If you win offices the wrong way, it will be a disaster. So if you want to win, win in a way that you are able to perform. I'll give you another illustration. In the last dispensation, there was a governor who was probably a benchmark for every other governor in the country. His performance was quite sterling. And somehow got appointed as a minister. Would you be so proud of his performance as a minister today? Probably it would have been better off living with the glory of being a governor that performed so well.
Well, I was just wondering, looking at some of the criticisms and some of the comments that have followed in the wake of the coalition, it's not a merger, it's a coalition. I think some people like to differentiate. And you were saying that the example that the APC has set is not quite one that this coalition, you think is something that it might follow, and as such might be a flop at the end of the day. But some people will say that the reason why we have examples is so that people can learn from there and, better it. But there's also been cynicism. For some people, they think that, these parties that have come together, some of them are briefcase parties, in quotes. They don't really exist. And you only hear of their names when elections are coming up. How do you respond to criticism like that, especially, with a party like yours?
Yeah, so if I use my party as an example, it's barely 1 year old. The party was registered in June of 2017. And within the last 1 year, it has offices in all 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT. Quite a number of analysts have also concluded that the ADP is actually the fastest growing political party in Nigeria. And
you say it has offices where?
In all 36 states of the Federation.
In all 36 states?
In all 36 states of the Federation.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and what we are trying to do is create a niche for ourselves. It is not, today if you go to Ekiti State, most of the media attention has been around the PDP and the APC, but I will tell you to watch out for the candidate of the ADP at that election, Shego Adewale. It will spring a surprise.
Why do you think that the smaller parties are shy of taking the positions at the grassroots? Why don't they think that that is a viable option to also build to the center? Why do they seem to have their eyes on, the big tickets before, when they don't seem to have, a base at the grassroots?
So what do we call the grassroots in Nigeria? You probably will say councillorship, local government chairman. As of today, councillorship election and local government chairmanship election are conducted by state independent electoral commissions. The best that we've seen, which we also had, was not the actual result that came, was probably in Kaduna State, where 1 or 2 opposition parties actually won some local government chairmanship seats. For virtually all the other states, the ruling parties in the state have announced whatever result that they deem fit. So if any of the minor political parties was thinking of starting up at the local government level, then it's an absolute waste of time.
What about the House of Reps? I mean, that is, because some people will say that even though that is not an excuse, the fact that the state electoral commissions are the ones conducting and as such, you know, in many instances we have not seen an example of free, fair and credible elections at the state level. It's something that they believe that the smaller political parties can work on. They can hold those, you know, states accountable, those electoral commissions accountable. But even if that were impossible, and I don't think it is, why do you think that they have not gone for positions like, say, the House of Representatives, where it would seem it would be easier to win, for instance?
The House of Assembly as well.
Exactly, and then maybe State House of Assembly.
Yeah, so I think if you check records very well, even in the National Assembly today, we had the senator who was initially elected on the platform of Labour Party, even though later he decamped to one of the major political parties. The reality is that we do have people come through the minor parties and they end up getting seats in the major parties. We have to work on our psyche as Nigerians, believing that our choices are limited to the APC and the PDP. And you hear the average Nigerian say,
some people will say that that is not true, because if people voted for him on the platform of the Labour Party, and that's why I think you have that clause in the National Assembly that if you defect and there is no division within your party, you should lose your seat.
But nobody have lost their seat.
Sadly. But if indeed, and that's something our political parties too can still challenge, but if indeed, you know, he was voted for on the platform of the Labour Party, it means that the people are not averse to voting for candidates they believe in. They don't have to be in the two major mainstream parties.
And that is why ADP is here, because we believe that people have the choice to make good choice, and then with their experience, having experienced the PDP, having experienced the APC, I think people are more enlightened now to know that they need to look elsewhere for the solution to the problem of Nigeria.